Welcome. I'm Dr. Wendy Nickerson from the Nickerson Institute, and I'm here today with Ben Myers. And we are so pleased to welcome a graduate of our Integrative Mental Health Coach Training Program, Fajr Nishat. She is from Bahrain, but she actually coaches globally. Welcome, Fajr.
Thank you so much, Wendy, for having me here. And thank you, Ben, for having me here as well.
I'm so excited to learn more about you. I've been hearing so much about you, your course development. So, with that being said, I would love just to hear a little bit about your work history and a little bit about you.
Some of my work experience, my recent work experience, includes working as a social emotional counselor at a school in Bahrain. And I also taught a class called Mindfulness and Wellbeing to secondary school students. 5 months ago, I started my own company called Enlighten Up Coaching and Education, and that is dedicated to enhancing young people's mental well-being through one-on-one mental health coaching. And I also do collaborations with schools, organizations, and just like-minded people who want to do some cool stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what I do.
That's incredible. And I think I just started seeing you on social media. So, I cannot wait to hear where we can find you and stuff like that as this continues to go on. Now, Wendy, I know you had a really cool question for Fajr as well.
I did. Everybody that's attracted to this program typically has some mental or physical or emotional challenges. I know I've certainly had mine. And I'm just wondering if you have anything that you would like to share.
Yeah, so in terms of, just to clarify the question, in terms of my personal experience, something that I'd like to share, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so actually growing up, I faced quite a lot of challenges. I experienced inconsistent caregiving, and my mother was going through a very serious illness. So I had to grow up a little bit too fast. So I kind of knew a lot about dysfunction and, just a lot of these things related to mental health early on. So I knew that this is where I wanted to be, this space. School was also particularly challenging. I struggled with low self-esteem, and I was a third culture kid. So that was pretty lonely. And, I lived my life in survival mode. So I just knew that this was my calling to be in this space. And another thing I do want to highlight is that, as a result of all this, I ended up having an autoimmune disease, psoriasis, at the age of 16. So I noticed how medical professionals, um, people in my community, they'd approach it from a very symptom management perspective. And for anyone who knows psoriasis, it's chronic, and there's a lot of underlying emotional factors that need to be addressed. So, oftentimes people would say, Fudger, stop scratching, because my eczema, my psoriasis, stems from my neck all the way up to my scalp. So people would see it and say, and get really shocked. Um, but at that time, I wish I could just stop scratching. And now I just wish people knew that there's so much more to a person's story than what they see on the surface, right? It's not all about symptoms. We have symptoms, but there's always something underlying, and it manifests as physical symptoms. But it's always good to know what the person's story is about. So that's really what led me into this field.
I am so appreciative that you shared this because this explains so much as to why you were attracted to the program due to the mind body component. How our mind is an impetus so often for any bodily symptoms, especially autoimmune diseases. It
Mhm.
also explains to me why you are so passionate about helping teens and why you were so passionate about developing the Emotional and Social Development for Teens course for Nickerson Institute because
Yes.
of your own personal experiences. And what's that saying about, you've taken your lemon and made lemonades when you use your challenges to help others. So I not only applaud your resilience, but how you have managed to turn this around. You also went to university in the United States, correct?
Yes, yes, I did. I went to university in Boston, Massachusetts, and that's where I studied psychology at Northeastern University. So it really got me very interested in mental health and just exploring the root cause behind all these physical ailments and how to approach it more from a biopsychosocial perspective. And I think I really learned that through your program, um, how to see things through that framework, because those things were really not so prominent in college. It would be in a few classes, but it was much more in depth in your course.
Mhm. And it sounds like you were already on that journey by going to university, and getting a degree in psychology. So thank you for sharing all of that.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking.
I'm so appreciative of it because I know so many people are looking to find ways that they can use a little bit of their life experience or a lot of it of their life experience to learn how to help others. So, after you sharing everything that you just shared, what was it that made you feel called to integrative health coaching? And when you were pulled to that integrative health coaching, did you want to expand on your current career path, or were you looking for a complete shift to kind of more adapt to the lifestyle that you were looking to live and help through?
That's a really good question. I was really trying to see an individual beyond their genetics, beyond their surface level traits. And I think that's kind of what I struggled with when I was growing up, whether it was at a doctor's office, whether it was just in a community, whether it was in family settings. Everything was so symptom based that
Mm.
I just wanted to go beyond that. And I'm so happy that, studying at Nickerson Integrative Health Coaching, I learned about the biopsychosocial perspective, and I learned that not one size fits all, and what might work for me might not work for someone else. So it's good practice to keep that open mindedness, and to that also helps you formulate respect for other clients as well. So yeah, again, back to that mind body approach, and that everything connects somehow, right? Like it's we once we start treating things in isolation, that's where we kind of lose the plot. So that's really what I wanted to add in my coaching, so that clients feel seen.
Mm.
And I think that's so important is we as those who are healing want to feel seen. And so when we're able to work with somebody that understands just the ability to be seen as we are, not as who we want to be or as society wants us to be, I think, having coaches like you that understand it, and coaches that are able to help us feel comfortable in the skin that we're currently working in and working through, working with. I just think you are such a blessing to people who are looking to have someone to be a teammate alongside of them. So
Mm.
getting to know your story, getting to know where you come from is just so important for people looking to make a decision on who they want to work with. So I'm just so grateful for you sharing your experience and letting us, even just myself, feel comfortable as myself sitting here with you because of, hearing a little bit about your story and why you're doing what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you so
Mm.
much. That's really kind of you. Thank you.
And if I could add to that too, as you went through the program, I distinctly recall you being having such a high level of empathy and integrity and respect for the clients that you recorded sessions with, and also that your colleagues in the program. So I'm very grateful for that. I have another question for you, and that is, given everything you've told us, have you developed a niche? I think you have, but I'd like to hear it in your words.
Yes, I have. I love working with teens and young adults. I think that's where I feel happiest. It makes me feel like I'm giving justice to my younger self. I always wish that I was equipped with certain tools, and I just needed a hand to hold. And so I'm so grateful that I can be that person for the clients that I worked with. And it's such a humbling experience because they're so inspirational, and they're just, I love the clients that I work with. So yeah, teens and young adults is where I really thrive.
I have to say that statement, giving justice to my younger self, that hit me in the heart. Like that is quite profound. And um, I am wondering if you had one thing that you could say to parents who might be struggling with their teens, what might that what might it be that can most help them? We know they need many things,
Mhm.
but what might that be?
From my experience, I think they just want someone to listen to them. And I know that sounds very simple,
Yep.
but a lot of times I think we we can work on it. We can work harder on just listening. A lot of times, I think teens and young adults, particularly, they don't necessarily need advice. They don't even need a suggestion. They have so much going on, especially in this generation. There is a lot of anxiety. There's a
Mm.
lot that they have to deal with, whether it's at school, whether it's there's so much competition. So I think they just want to be heard. They just want to feel safe. So I would just say, listen more often.
And we do know that even the research says that the most powerful thing we can do is listen and validate and witness their lives. Parents would also need to trust that once they get through this stage, everything's going to level out. So that's helpful. That's helpful too. What I love so much about teens, I have to say, is how so many teens being born in the early, I don't know, 2012, for instance, how they are so incredibly gifted spiritually. So I think keeping that in mind when working with teens, they are not linear. They come in with a whole lot of experience. And I know you realize that, Fajar. So I think Ben has a question for
I
you now.
do, and it's almost it's kind of a double, I don't want to say double edged question, but it kind of ties in. You say listening, right? And I think my initial question was going to be like, what makes you feel like you're a good integrative mental health coach? And I kind of want to set you up with a question of, this is what's going to help you feel, kind of answer your question, like what is a good way for parents just to learn how to listen to their children, because I think by understanding this, even if it's just like one nugget to take away, because I know some parents want to fix, some parents want to protect, some parents want to do all this. So how does understanding how to listen to your children, opposed to fix, save, or protect, how do you think they can go about that if there was just one first step to being able to do that?
I think it's always helpful to ask your children, hey, are you looking for advice or are you just looking for me to listen? What are you looking for right now? Simple. And it's kind of giving the teen or the young adult power to make that choice. And it's a very simple choice, but I think at that moment they need that. They just need to feel like, okay, I have a choice. When everything is so out of control, at least I have this choice that okay, I just want my mom to listen to me. I just want my dad to listen. That's all. And they have the power to say that. So I think it's that simple. You could just ask them. And I think that's another thing that as a parent, I think well, a lot of the parents I've met, and they're incredible parents that I've met. I'm so grateful to have met them. Um, they feel like they need to have all the answers, right? And I think a lot of parents might feel this way, that they need to have all the answers. And I think it's okay to not have the answers. It's okay to just ask the question and, you know, just see where it goes.
Mhm.
So would
Yeah.
you say that's what makes you a good mental health coach? Is the ability to listen and adapt?
I think so. I think I ask a lot of questions, actually. I ask my clients a lot of questions, and I think I try to gauge where they're at and see, what's the right question to ask at this time. Like, do they, if I don't know they need whether they need a suggestion or not, I ask them, hey, are you open to suggestions, or would you just like to tell me what's going on right now? And I think that works really well. It makes them feel comfortable. It gives them their power back. So I try to incorporate a lot of coaching questions that could work for them. Um, yeah, that's really what I try to do.
Well, any parent or any teen would be very fortunate to have you as their coach, especially given your expertise, your knowledge, and your own personal experiences, Fajar.
Thank you.
Um, what I know you're growing your own practice. What strategies are you going to use to grow your practice?
Yeah, I'm currently working on that. I have an Instagram page that I started a little while ago. So I'm trying to work on that, trying to add information on that. And I offer workshops too. So I try to partner with different schools, with different organizations, and see if I can tailor make a workshop for based on their needs. So that's something that I'm trying to do right now to grow and expand the business and do a lot of outreach as well.
And I thought I saw some lives too, either on Facebook or
Yes.
on Instagram also. So you're really reaching out globally
Yes.
to
Yes.
help these teens. And again, I will mention the amazing course that you put together for Nickerson with emotional and social development for teens. That
Thank
is
you.
phenomenal. I encourage anyone to take a peek at our website and under courses, and you will get all of the details to Fajar's amazing course.
Thank you. I do want to mention one thing as well, that I offer coaching in two languages. So there's English and there's Urdu as well, because I'm originally from Pakistan. So I offer Urdu as well. So yeah, if there's anyone out there who wishes to do some coaching in Urdu, I'd be more than happy to do that.
That's incredible. I think, just to be able to speak native language, to be able to offer that, because once again, it comes down to a level of comfort, a level of feeling safe, and not having
Absolutely.
to speak a second language just in order to help heal. Being able to speak a native language, that's so important. And so, with that being said, I would love to be able to ask people, where can they find you, whether it be a website, whether it be your Instagram, your Facebook. Where can people find you if they're looking to reach out?
Yeah, so on Instagram, you could find me on Enlighten Up Coach. That's my handle. And you can find all the information there. You could DM me. I'm very responsive. So, yeah, that's where you could reach me. And then my website is listed there as well. But if you do want to check out my website, it is eupcoaching.org. So that's eupcoaching.org.
As in enlighten up
Yep.
coaching. I love it. I love it. I am so grateful that you took the time today to expand upon your life and what you have to offer and who you can help. And thank you so much for being part of Nickerson Institute, the
Thank
tribe.
you. Thank you
We
so
really
much.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me and for taking your time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
It was such a pleasure to get to know you, to understand where you come from, how you can help people, how you are best serving your purpose and serving this world. And I am so excited to learn more about you from Enlighten Up in EUP.com, correct?
.org.
.org. I'm .org too. I should have known that. Thank you so much for being here. And I am so looking forward to see all the amazing impacts and positive ripples you put in this world.
Thank you so much, Ben and Wendy. Thank you so much.